The last section of the first lesson in history, the dawn of the modern period, we are going to discuss about the maritime expedition. Very short. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just give you some explanation. Then, as you read, you will be able to understand. Right. Now, in the earlier sections, in the scientific revolution, we studied about how the whole science is being evolved through the works of Copernicus, Galileo, and other scientists. Okay. Now, before this, what happened? We also find as the astronomical science was growing in one way, so the science regarding the maritime. Okay, so maritime means something that deals with the sea. So mare, the maritime means this word mare, it comes from the Latin term. Okay, a Latin and the Italian term, which means sea, something that is related to sea. Okay, so all those who are involved with the sea, with the expedition in the sea, they are called as mariners. Okay, so what happened? These sailors from Europe were crossing the ocean to find new sea lanes to new worlds. They wanted to go to new places through sea voyage. But before this scientific advancement of the new idea of astronomy that replaced geocentric theory with the heliocentric theory, these voyagers, these mariners, were simply mostly they were traveling from one port to another port through the shallow coast. They did not go into the deep sea. They did not venture into a deep ocean, deep sea. The main reason was that they did not have any maps of the sea which could help them to find their way. Without knowing anything, you can't go into deep sea. No, you will simply get caught somewhere and then you will lose your life. Okay, so there was only one way that they could resolve the problem. How they were able to resolve the problem was to observe the stars and planets and use their position to find out where they were on the Earth's surface and which path they should choose. So, based on the observation of the planetary motions and the stars, the motion, the position of the stars, they were able to find out where they are exactly and how they have to proceed further. Okay, so these mariners, they set out for new lands in search of wealth. They are all middle class, people of the middle class. We saw about who are the middle class. They are people who are very important in the history of the Renaissance, because it is they who actually travel from one place to another place, but through their business they also brought their own knowledge, and they were able to have discussion with the new people whom they met, and then new discoveries were emerging. Okay, so these merchants, people of the middle class, they set forth for new lands in search of wealth. Many of them also wanted to spread Christianity. Okay, so as they were traveling, they also wanted to spread Christianity, spread their faith. So what happened? It is for this reason many of the kings and emperors in Europe, they supported their search, their expedition. Okay, so these mariners believed that they could reach India if they sailed around the African. So if the world is not flat, if the earth is not flat, but rather it is a globe, then for them, they discovered that, they reasoned out that it is very easy for them to reach India by sea route around Africa. They really don't have to go through Africa, go through the road route, because the road route were not very safe at that moment. Therefore, sea route is very safe. It will offer them a safe passage to their destination. So what happened? They started their deep sea ocean voyages. So that meant that they could cross Atlantic Ocean to reach the eastern coast of China. Okay, now who was the first one? It was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese navigator who sailed around Africa to reach Calicut in the coastal Indian state of Kerala in 1498. Before him, before Vasco da Gama, it was Columbus, Christopher Columbus, who set out towards India. But he reached a group of islands off the coast of a new continent. Okay, and no, mistakenly he considered that island to be India. So he thought he had reached India, so he called the island as Indies. We call as West Indies, no? So it was Columbus who discovered those islands and its inhabitants as Indians. Later, the Portuguese navigator Amerigo Vespucci established this was a new continent by sailing around it. So he said it's not in India, but it's a new continent. No, that's what is known as USA, the present USA, the present America. A few years later, the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan decided to sail his ship around the entire world to prove the world was round. This is very, very important expedition in the history of mankind. So Magellan wanted to prove, really he wanted to prove that Earth is really round, it's not flat. So he begins, so if Earth is round, then Magellan is here. Okay, he is here and he said, okay, Earth is globe and therefore I am going to prove it. So I will just go around the world. So he just goes around the world. He said, I will come to the point where I started. Okay, so he started his voyage. He wanted to sail around the world to prove that Earth was round, but he could not complete his circumnavigation, dying along the way. But his crew completed the journey. You see, Magellan started, but he could not complete. But his crew, those people who went with him, they were able to complete the journey, and they proved that Earth is really round, a globe. It's not flat. Okay, that's how we find experimental conclusion for the mathematical calculations. So with that we complete our portion, the first lesson, the dawn of the modern culture in India and in Europe. Okay, I hope you understood, and as you listen to these videos, kindly you read your books. If you don't read your books, you will not understand. Okay, right, thank you, have a nice day.